Hello, Lensmates, and welcome back. It's your host, Book Lens. Go ahead and find a comfortable spot, maybe lie back and just listen. Because today we're diving into a huge shakeup in the world of cinema. I'm talking about a story that completely rewrites the rules of animation. You know, for decades, when you thought of blockbuster animation, one name came to mind, right? Disney. They were the undisputed champs, the absolute Goliath of the industry. But, well, every Goliath story needs a David. And in our story, that challenger comes from a pretty unexpected place, Beijing and Light Pictures. So yeah, this is the setup for one of the biggest upsets in box office history. Okay, just look at this number for a second. Over $2.2 billion. This isn't the budget of a small country or some tech company's valuation. No, this is the new all-time worldwide box office record for an animated film, and it was set by a sequel from China called Nisha 2. So, the big question is, how? How did a non-Hollywood film not only beat, but completely shatter records that were held by the biggest studio on the entire planet? Let's break it all down. But first, to really get the scale of what just happened, we need to look at the titan that was just dethroned. I mean, for 14 straight years, Disney's dynasty seemed absolutely untouchable. Let's just take a quick look at this timeline. Disney's incredible streak actually started way back in 2010 with Toy Story 3. For the next 14 years, a Disney or Pixar film always held the title of highest-grossing animated feature of all time. The record was most recently held by the amazing Inside Out 2 just last year. It was a period of just total dominance. And then, Nisha 2 arrived. And it didn't just break the record. It completely obliterated it. Let's dig into how this absolutely historic run happened. This chart really shows you the sheer scale of the victory. I mean, this was not a narrow win. Inside Out 2 was a huge global hit, no question. But Nisha 2 just soared past its record by hundreds and hundreds of millions. This wasn't just a new chapter in the record books, it was a whole new book. The number of all-time records this movie broke is just staggering. It is the first animated film ever to cross that $2 billion mark. It's the highest-grossing non-English film ever made. And maybe the most impressive thing of all, it's now the fifth highest-grossing film of any kind in history. That puts it up there with movies like Avatar and Avengers Endgame. And get this. It did all of this with breathtaking speed. It took just 33 days for Nisha 2 to race past that $2 billion milestone, a little over 1 month to totally rewrite cinematic history. Wow. So, how in the world did a film with hardly any presence in the West become this global juggernaut? Well, the answer, and this is the really fascinating part, is where the money came from. This chart right here shows the most astounding fact of all. An absolutely unprecedented 97% of the film's massive gross came from a single country, China. That's right, all but $60 million of that money was earned in just one market. Nothing like this has ever happened on this scale before. This incredible domestic performance didn't just set Chinese records, it set global ones. Nisha 2 became the highest-grossing film ever in any single market. And that means it surpassed the US record held by Star Wars. It was also the first movie ever to earn $1 billion and then $2 billion from just one country. Just incredible. And the result of all of this is this huge, monumental shift. For the first time in modern cinema history, the crown for the world's biggest animated film belongs to a studio outside of Hollywood. Beijing and Light Pictures did it. They broke a pattern that, honestly, seemed unbreakable. So, what does this all mean? Beyond the numbers, beyond the records, what does this box office shocker really tell us about where movies are headed? I think the biggest takeaway is this. The power to create a world-conquering blockbuster, it just doesn't belong exclusively to Hollywood anymore. The success of Ne Zha 2 is definitive proof that a single, massive, culturally powerful domestic market can generate enough money to outpace films that were literally designed for worldwide appeal. And that leaves us with this really fascinating question to think about. For decades, the road to becoming #1 ran straight through Hollywood, but now that map has been completely redrawn. If a domestic story from China can claim the animated crown, what's next? Could the next all-time blockbuster come from India, or Nigeria, or maybe Brazil? The game has truly, truly changed. Thank you for joining me, Lensmates. Until next time.